Hello, my name is Martyr, and this is Let's Play Flashout 2. Flashout 2, guys, is a combat racing game. It released on Steam June 2014, but it's been around a bit on the mobile market, kind of like a game we reviewed recently, Epic. Flashout 2 is developed and published by Jujubee. You can go ahead and get Flashout 2 on Steam right now for $9.99. Now, for the record, I have never played the Flashout series. I never played Flashout 1, for instance. But I did play a little bit of Wipeout, which I feel like this game definitely takes some inspiration from, and that was on my PSP when it first came out like a long ass time ago. But I understand the basic appeal of these types of games. You got racing, great. You got combat, badass. Smash them together, combat racing, and that's freaking amazing. I mean, as of the filming of this review, Mario Kart 8 is currently dominating the charts. People love this idea. They love this concept. They love this genre. And to be honest with you guys, I wanted to love this game, but it just has some issues. But it is fun, but it definitely suffers, or at least it is affected by the fact that it is being ported from the mobile market, put onto the PC, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And so let's just get into it, shall we? I'm going to be showing you the single player, but one of the things I feel like I should note, which I think is hilarious, is that if you play the multiplayer, and there is multiplayer, like I said, even though I basically hit multiplayer and no one showed up, one thing that you will be kind of noticing is that for some reason or other, it decides to use whatever you name your PC as your name during the racing. So you'll end up, playing against probably other crazy ass computer named, Gateway and Windows Mac or whatever the hell it is. Just saying, I don't understand why they don't allow you to change that. I feel like that's something they'll probably patch out eventually. So let's get into the game itself here, guys. Let's talk about what you're looking at here. If you're looking at this and you're thinking this looks very much similar to an app, you'd be correct. You kind of have to click and drag on the menu, for God's sakes, to get to different things, for like the career, the tutorial, whatever have you. And that will turn some people off. I will say that much. But there is some nice things here that I do enjoy. For instance, you can kind of change the music. And I think that's one kind of neat feature, even though it's kind of a bit of a quiet song there. But yeah, you have complete, total access to the entire soundtrack, whatever you happen to like. Their little electronic music, and I will say that the music is pretty badass. I do enjoy the music quite a bit. There's other buttons here that'll take you to the developer and Facebook and the garage, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and the settings here, which are not great, but they're there for you to play with. So let's get play into the game, shall we? Let's actually show you what the game is like here. I'm gonna go to Hong Kong. There is other boards here. There's 10 total boards for you to play through. I guess you have to unlock different. You have to basically play through the campaign mode to unlock certain boards here. So that's not a big deal. We'll just play through Hong Kong here. Hong Kong, People's Republic of China. And one of the things I feel like I should mention first is the graphics. The graphics have issues. Like, the terrain is extremely illuminated, and it can just make it can make just seeing ahead very difficult, because everything's changing color and everything's kind of moving at high speeds. It could just be kind of very nauseating. I mean, it's not bad. For instance, for me, I don't mind it all too much, but I can see where somebody who was playing the game or watching the game, for instance, might get slightly annoyed. Another thing I feel like I need to mention is that, yes, the game does feature controller support. Matter of fact, it says that it features full controller support. I don't know how I feel about that. I would say that it features kind of partial controller support. For instance, if you want to play this game with a controller, I just get an Xbox controller. That's basically all it kind of really works with. My controller, for instance, didn't work. It's a Linksys. Buttons were missing, so I'm actually kind of forced to be playing the game with the keyboard and mouse, which again you can do, but it doesn't really tell you how to do that. Like, I played the tutorial; it doesn't tell you which buttons do what. I literally had to do trial and error to figure out what buttons did what when playing with my keyboard and mouse, which is a little silly. Especially where they could just have easily just told you what buttons did what, but I literally had to figure it out while playing the game. There is like a little screen tutorial that'll pop up that'll show you what buttons do what on an Xbox 360 controller, but again, it doesn't show you anything for the PC. So that could be a little bit annoying. So what's the objective of this game? Obviously, it's a racing game. For instance, it was in general, we're looking at right here on the top left is my speed. To the right of that is my health. To the top right is a pause button, which if I were to click on, would pause the entire game. And you can't hit escape. You literally have to hit that pause button. Again, suffering, I feel, from porting issues. Why can't I just hit escape and pause the game? I don't know. Okay, I guess I can. Never mind. It wasn't working earlier. I don't know why it started working now. I tried to hit escaping earlier and it didn't work, but now I guess it does. So that's good. All right, I take that back. I was wrong about that. To the bottom of that is like my position in the race. I'm obviously 4th in a 5-player race here. Below that are my missiles, or I should say my weapons, which is obviously how I engage in, the combat racing aspect of it all. And there's, I think, about 3 different kinds of weapons. There's the minigun, there's the missiles, and then there's like these mines that you can lay out to kind of hit your enemies and hopefully they'll run over them and die, kind of like the bananas from Mario Kart almost. As you can see, I kind of won that race. I really wasn't paying much attention. I basically was just pressing the forward button and letting it just do its thing. And to be honest with you, that is one aspect of the game that has issues. The racing. For the most part, you don't really have to pay much attention. You can kind of just... You bouncing off walls, unless in very specific scenarios, which there's this one wall in this type of game that'll instantly kill you. That wall right there. I'm just gonna hit it just to show you what it looks like. If you hit that wall, you die instantly. But otherwise, you can smash into the walls, and it really just kind of self-guides you forward. It does. All you're really trying to do is catch onto the weapons and the speed bumps, or the speed arrows. But otherwise, yeah, basically just smashing into the walls. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't really affect anything. I can't turn around. The car is self-guided as far as it goes. It basically just goes straight forward for the most part. The game also auto-targets things for you for the combat, basically. You will see a little red reticle form, and you will press the corresponding button to do whatever action you wish. If you have missiles, you have missiles. If you have bullets, you have bullets. But yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell as far as the racing goes. There really isn't much racing to be done, I feel like. It should just... In Mario Kart, for instance, I felt like I had way more control of my car. I felt like I had to guide my car to succeed in the racing aspect, as well as, aiming shells or whatever have you, to do, well in the combat aspect of the game. But this feels like more of a you're just trying to hit the speed bumps and collect weapons and shoot whatever's in front of you. Which is cool, that's fine. But some people who are looking for a real, dynamic, I feel, racing experience will not find that. By the way, those are mines I just got, by the way. I'm just laying those out behind me in case that something comes up behind me. As far as board diversity goes, also, again, the speed that you're moving at, you're not really going to notice. All the boards kind of feel somewhat the same to me. Because most of the time I'm just kind of looking forward towards the speed bumps and trying to catch weapons, that I don't really notice the outside edges of the board, like the buildings above us right now, or the fact that I'm entering a tunnel like right now. It just, to be honest with you, it looks kind of the same. I'm being attacked by another player right now, and well, I'm dead, basically. There's really only one way to defend yourself from attacks, and those are the abilities on the left, which are kind of passive abilities. There is a shield ability that you can use to kind of defend yourself from attacks, but you will rarely run into it, to be honest with you. They're kind of, I think they're hidden basically throughout the board, obviously. You can kind of collect them and use them to your advantage, but for the most part, if you are caught by an enemy attack, for instance, if you are behind somebody, you are screwed. If you're in front of somebody, I should say, you are screwed. No matter what you do, if you don't have a shield, they're going to hit you about 100 times and you will die. But in the same vein of that, they suffer from the same rules. They have pretty much no way to defend themselves. I've never actually seen an enemy activate a shield. But it can be a little bit frustrating when you're in first place and basically everybody's behind you and you don't have a shield, and basically you're just kind of screwed. There's really nothing you can do to defend yourself from enemy attack. And that can be a little bit frustrating, but that's just the way the game works. And when you do get a shield, though, I mean, it does make the shield very valuable and useful and all that good stuff. As you can see right there, I have really just no ability to dodge. I'm shooting my machine gun, and supposedly I'm locked on, but I'm not really doing anything. You don't, other than the rockets, which you can kind of see flying towards your enemy, there's really no way to determine what's hitting and what's not hitting, which can be a little bit frustrating. You kind of have to just pray that you're on target, that you're hitting them, basically. The rockets you can kind of see hitting them when you lock on, hopefully, and you can basically hit them. That's kind of nice. But like I said, though, you can see this is, I played through what, 4 different boards now, or 3 different boards now. They kind of all look the same. They're kind of all the same tunnels. Things are glowing brightly. I am, like I said, I'm playing this with my keyboard and mouse, and you can, let's say, for instance, take your mouse and click on abilities like the missile here, but you will lose track of your mouse because of how brightly colored things are. I can't focus on hitting the speed ups and where my mouse is going. So you're going to end up using the keyboard. And you can play this entire game with the keyboard, and that's what I've been doing up to this point. But the problem is that the tutorial does absolutely a terrible job of telling you what buttons do what. And I feel like this can just be really quickly patched, fixed up, and they will let you know what buttons will do what. But for the record, like R does rockets, I think E is lay down mines, Q is your shield, F is your boost, and spacebar is your machine gun. That's to help you out if you're interested in this game, just for you to know. But basically, it's not going to tell you that. You have to figure that out all by yourself. And basically, that's it. Unless you have a Xbox 360 controller, and then you can play the game with the Xbox 360 controller. But I have no idea what buttons do what on that controller, so good luck to you there. I have issues with the entire control aspect of this. I feel it's very confusing. But the combat is pretty smooth. I mean, it's fun, aside from the fact that basically there's just no way to dodge anything, and basically if anyone's behind you, they can just wail on you. There's 10 boards to play here. There's also different kinds of modes to play here. Once we get through this race, we'll talk about those here in a sec. Once we get through this race here, which will be very soon, I imagine. And if you've noticed, there's been like these money globs I've been picking up throughout the game. And you can spend those money on upgrades and stuff, which you will do in a garage-esque area here, which once we beat this race, I will show you guys. So let's see if we can get through this race here. As you can see, I wasn't really paying much attention, and I kind of won. I'm in first place. I didn't really pay much attention. I just raced and raced and raced, and I won. I didn't really pay too much attention at all. Which, again, I understand that I might have it on easy difficulty, but I could put it on hard, and I have a feeling the racing aspect wouldn't necessarily change. All it means is that my competitors would have better stats. Basically, they would be faster than me, and it would be much harder for me to catch up on, or they'd probably blow me to smithereens in about 5 seconds. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my skill. That just happens to do with the fact that suddenly they're hitting harder, or suddenly they're faster. But I suppose I could upgrade my car, like I told you guys that you could do here in the garage. And you can, again, kind of have to swipe over to look at the different things that you can do. You can upgrade your armor, the gun damage, and upgrade your stats. Or if you want to do all together, for instance, is spend all your money and get a new car altogether, which has better stats in general. To be honest with you, I don't really understand why you would upgrade the individual stats and then instead of just buying the best car that you could, which apparently is around 250,000 coins there, or whatever they are. And that has the best stats, and then you could upgrade that to the maximum efficiency. I guess if you wanted to, you could kind of do a kind of a periodic upgrading as you go through the game. But it does have that. There's different cars, which is kind of cool. All of them have pretty cool designs. I enjoy that aspect. So let's go ahead and buy a car. What the hell? We'll buy this car. Do you want to buy this ship for 20,000? Yeah, sure. And now I can spend some money to upgrade the gun damage on that. And it'll get more expensive and more expensive, and then eventually it'll tap out and I'll have to upgrade something else. But that's basically it. I can get the points multiplayer, the speed upgrade. Let's go get a speed upgrade. There we go. So now we blew all of our money on the speed upgrade. But yeah, you have that aspect. You can upgrade your car. You also have different kinds of racing modes. You have the time trial. You have a single race, which I think there's different kinds of races. Yeah, there's destruction race, elimination race, and the single race. You can also change the number of laps, maybe? Nope, you can't change the number of laps. That's weird that they'd have that option there for you to see if you couldn't change the number of laps. But they have that there. You also have like this career mode thing, which is has its own like weird, almost storyline in it. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about here. Let's go ahead and do one of the races here. The Jubilee Cup? No. You will lose your progress in a different league. Do you want to continue? No. But yes, that's fine. And basically, I think I already did this race, didn't I? Oh, I did. Okay, that's why it was telling me that. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do this race, guys. This one, I guess, is like a time attack mode. I've not really done this race. There is like mines laying around. I guess this is kind of like a time attack mode. Which is how you progress through this one. You have to basically beat the race in a certain amount of time. Again, all I'm really doing, though, is not really focusing. There's other racers in this one either. So the combat aspect is kind of useless. All you're going to be looking to do is catch the gold arrows, basically. I don't even know why they have the upgrades on the board if there's nobody else to shoot. I guess I can just do it to make cool sound effects. Musically, I will say the game is really awesome. Music-wise, it's phenomenal. It's really well done. And the music is really exciting. No control over that, by the way. I touch that wall just the slightest bit, and I explode instantly. It's kind of hilarious. Musically, like I said, the game is just really phenomenal. It's well done. Sound-wise, again, it's not that bad. Just the graphics can be just a little brighty and flashy, and it can get a little nauseating on the eyes, and I can't really tell the difference from each board to each board. But the game does feature also Steam achievements, all that good stuff if you're into that kind of thing, guys. It doesn't have Steam trading cards, I don't think, yet. What did we do there? We got silver, it looks like. And I was really pretty much half-assing it. There is that difficulty. You can play on different difficulties if you want. In the single-player mode, there is that multiplayer mode for you to enjoy. Also, guys, Flashout 2 is a fun game. Once you get over the confusing controls, you start playing the races, it is fun. It does keep the pace of the game really fast, and it does have a decent amount of fluff to enjoy with the upgrading and the Steam achievements and the different racing modes. You have quite a bit of replay, and maybe once people start buying the game more, the multiplayer may pick up. I mean, I hit multiplayer, and basically what happened was that it basically counted down, no one joined, and it put me up against a bunch of other computer-controlled players. But once I can match that picks up, it'll be quite a bit of fun. I just felt that this game suffered quite a bit from being ported altogether, especially after playing other ported games that seamlessly transferred themselves from the mobile to PC, like Epic or Lily Child of Geos. Again, though, when you boil the game down, guys, it is fun. If I had a suggestion for the developers, it would be fix the controls badly. Cool it on the neon and maybe offer a demo to entice players to play this game. But that's basically my 2 cents. Big thanks to the developers for a chance to review this game. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and I'll keep bringing you awesome indie games, guys. Till next time, play more indie games.